Good day, YouTubers. How are you doing? I hope you are doing well all over the world, anywhere you are hearing me or you are watching me right now. And in our class today, we want to talk about using the completing the square method to solve a quadratic equation. Actually, in our first class, we talked about factor method, as factorization method in solving quadratic equation and quadratic expression. Today, we are going to completing the square method. So this part is in two ways. So we're going to put it in part one, part two. So this is part one. That is how to use a completing the square method. And the other part is when they ask you this one part. So the other part is when they ask you to find the constant here. There's some question they will ask you to find the constant, what will make it a perfect square. So we're going to use that one as a part two. So make sure you follow those two steps, those two parts. Watch it, especially those that are in the terminal class. It will assist you a lot. So today we want to use completing the square method to solve a quadratic equation. Let's go to it. Now look at the quadratic equation. This is it. We've talked about that. We know what quadratic equation is all about. And we have the 2 as the highest power on the unknown. Now if you want to use a completing the square method, okay, completing the square method, anytime you want to use it, there are some steps to follow. Let's look at those steps so you have a better understanding of it. Steps to follow when using completing the square method. The first thing you are going to do, I want to write it down so it will assist you, and when we get to the other hand, when you want to prove the quadratic general formula, it will also assist us there. The first thing is arrange the equation in such a way that variable, that is those one that you're looking for, is on the left hand side and constant is on the right hand side. So that's the first step. You have to arrange your equation in such a way that the variable that you're looking for will be on the left hand side and the constant will be on the right hand side. So we're going to do that while we're solving this one. Step 2. In the step 2, you have to divide through by the coefficient. Divide through by the coefficient of the second power. That is the one that carry second power variable. Okay, the one that carry to the second power term. The one that carries square. So the one that carries square, you have to divide through by the coefficient that you have there. Step 3. Follow it through one at a time, so it will assist us a lot. Add to both sides. That's step 3. Add to both sides the square of half of coefficient of first power term. Don't forget the first power term, the one that doesn't carry the square. That's another step. Step 4 is express the quadratic expression in the form x plus a square, just like what we have when we get to part 2. You're going to understand that one better. And the last step is take the square of both sides. Take the square of both sides, that is the square root rather. Take the square root of both sides. We have to take the square root of both sides and solve for the variable. And solve the variable. So these are the 5 steps that you're going to follow. Okay, the 5 steps to follow while you're taking off, while you want to use completing the square method. Okay, now you want to use completing the square method. I will soon clean it. Please, if you want to jot it, you jot it quickly, and let's move on. Now let's go to step 1 now. So let's take it one at a time now. Step 1 says arrange the equation, your quadratic equation given to you, in such a way that the constant will move to the right hand side. So you take this one to the right hand side. That's what that sentence 1 is talking about. You have 2x squared plus 6x is equals to, this is minus 3. When it goes to the other side, it will become plus 3. You let it be like that. Okay, that's step 1. We say it. Let's move on. Step 2 says divide through by the coefficient of the second power. This is the second power. We divide through by the coefficient. What's the coefficient here? 2. That's very good. 2. So we have to divide everything by 2. Okay, that's what that one is saying. When you divide this one by 2, you're going to have x squared alone plus 3x. That is 6 divided by 2. That's 3. Is equals to 3 over 2. Are we following? Shall we move on? That's step 2. Step 3 says add to both sides half. Square of half of coefficient of this one. Okay, square of half of coefficient of this one. And what is half of this one? The first power. You know, we're talking of the first power now. So you have to divide through by the square of half of this one, the first power. Okay, the first power. So half of this one will be 3 over 2. Square of it. That's what you want to add now. Add to both sides. 3 over 2. That will be the half of 3. You know, this is 3. When you have 3 times 1 over 2, you are going to have 3 over 2. Do we see that? So that is 3 over 2. Don't let us be wasting time on that. 3 over 2. Let's move on. So we are going to add it to both sides now. That's what the sentence is saying. That is x squared plus 3x plus then 3 over 2 all in square now is equals to 3 over 2 plus 3 over 2 all over raised to power 2, right? Okay, raised to power 2. Do we understand it up to that level? Shall we move on now? The next question says what? Express as what? As a x plus a squared. So that's these two. We have to express it like a quadratic expression now. So we are going to have x plus 3 over 2 all in square. So that is like a quadratic expression in this form. The other side now, we need to simplify that one further. So we're going to have 3 over 2 plus 9 over 4. Do we get that? How do we get that? 3 squared, 9. 2 squared, 4. Do we get that one? Let's move on. So the next thing we find the LCM now. Let's simplify that end. We find the LCM. Our LCM will be what? 4. Let's simplify it. That will give us what? 2 in 4, that's 2, times 3, that's 6, plus 4 in 4, 1. 1 times 9, that's 9. So you're going to have 15 over 4. Is that one clear up to that stage? Please, I'm clearing the step. I'm clearing the step. We are already in this place. So I hope you jot it down. Let's move on. But I want to use the board so we can complete the working. So in the next one, we're not going to copy the something again. Let's move on. We have this end here, x plus 3 over 2 all in square. That's quadratic expression there. We have is equals to 15 over 4. The last step says what? Take square root of both sides. Take square root of both sides. So you have to take square root of this one. So we're going to have x plus 3 over 2 only here is equals to, when I take the square root of this one, it will give you plus or minus square root of 15 over 4. Are we agree with that? Shall we continue? I'm cleaning step 3. Step 3 now. I think I'm done with step 3. I'm in the last step already. So now, let's move on from here now. What do we have? Let's split this bondage on top of each other. Well, our 3 over 2 is equals to plus or minus root 15. Was that one as its own? Square root of 4 is what? 2. That's very good. Thank God you remember that one. The question says we should solve for a variable. So I think I'm done with the steps. So let me turn it off and then let's continue our work now. Okay, jot it down. Don't tell me you don't know the next step. 3 over 2 is equals to plus or minus root 15 all over 2. Is that one clear up to that stage? Now take your calculator. What is 3 over 2? Let's take it to simpler form. Let's take it to decimal so we can put our answer in significant figure. We have x plus 1.5. Very good. 1.5 is equals to, in the other side, plus or minus, what's square root of 15? Square root of 15 is what? Square root of 15, 3.873. Very good. 3.873. I can continue like that. So over 2. We get that? Shall we continue? Very good. Now the next thing is we divide straight. Let's divide this one so we can have a straight something. Divide by 2. What do we have? 1.936. That's very good. 1.936 when you divide it by 2. Don't forget to still carry plus or minus. Let me put it there so you don't miss it. Plus or minus is still maintained. So now we're not going to have plus 1.5 is equals to plus or minus 1.936. And what does that mean? That we need to add and we need to subtract. Okay, we need to add and we need to subtract. So take this one to the other side. When you take it to the other side, you are going to have your x will be equals to 1. Let's put plus the first, plus 1.936 minus 1.5, or we're going to have, let's put it together so we can have our answer down here. We're going to have minus now, minus 1.936 minus 1.5. So those are the two ends that we can have. We split the addition, then the subtraction. Okay, now let's look at it now. When we had it, what do we have? When we had it, what do we have? 0.44. That's very good. 0.44. 0.44. Or what do we have in the other hand? I've already taken it to two significant figures like that. So in the other side, when we subtract, we are going to have minus 3. The two significant figure 3.4. So that is the two significant figure. So not to have plenty of decimals over there. So now the root of the equation will now be 0.44 or minus 3.4. That's the root of that equation. Is that one clear enough? Shall we continue? That's very good. Let's go to example 2 now. So let's look at example 2. Don't forget this says the question is like we want to use the completing the square method. But look at this one now. They give us two brackets, binomial one, then we have another one is equals to 0. So how do we know what is going on? We have to first open the bracket, expand. Let's expand. When you expand it, what do we have? 2p square. That's very good. Somebody is telling me the answer here. 2p square minus, by the time you simplify that one, I will give you 5p, isn't it? Minus 3 plus 4. You know, this one is will give you minus 3, then plus 4 that you have at the end, then you have is equals to 0. You can simplify it further. You have 2p square minus 5p plus 1 is equals to 0. Let's go back to the step now. The step 1 says what? You will still remember step 1 I will lay now. Step 1 says transfer the constant to the right hand side. This one is moving to the other side of the equation. So we have 2p squared minus 5p is equals to minus 1. Don't forget, please don't forget the sign. Don't forget the sign. Plus 1. When it's the other side, it will become minus 1. Please don't forget the sign. So you don't miss it from that end. The next thing is what? Who can remind us? Divide through by the coefficient of the second power. Okay? Second power variable. So we have to do the second power term. Then we divide through by that. So we're going to have p squared minus 5 over 2p, isn't it? Is equals to minus 1 over 2. Are we following? That's very good. The next thing is what? Add to both sides. The square of half of coefficient of first power. Half of this one, what will it be? When you have something like 5 over 2 times 1 over 2, what will it give you? 5 over 4. Okay, 5 over 4. So that will be our half of this first power. Now, half of the coefficient of the first power, that's 5 over 4. So we're going to add it together. So we have this square minus 5 over 2p plus 5 over 4 all in square. What do we have there? Is it minus or plus? Let's go back to that. Don't forget you carry your minus again. The minus is still carrying. Is equals to what will it give you? 1 minus 1 over 2 plus minus 5 over 4. Please, the sign. Take care of the sign so you're not going to miss your work. The sign is very, very important. You have to take care of this sign. Now let's look at this one. By the time you factorize this, you factorize this one, it will give you what? P minus 5 over 4 all in square. That one will give you that one. Then is equals to, in the other side, let's try and simplify it further. Minus 1 over 2 is still maintained. Let's look at what will happen at the back. 5 squared minus 5 squared, that's 25 over 16. Are we agree with that? 25 over 16. Is that one clear to everyone? Now let's move on. That one is clear. Put this one back the way you have it. P minus 5 over 4 all in square is equals to the other side. To the other side, let's go and simplify it one at a time. So some will not tell me we've done magic. There's no magic here. Plus 25 over 16. LCM 16. 2 in 16. So 2 in 16, what do we have? That's minus 8. That's 8. But it's carrying minus. Okay. Plus this one, 25. Will we get it up to that stage? Shall we continue? What's the answer? Let's simplify that one straight. What will be the answer? Minus 8 plus 25, that's 17 over 16. Are we agree with that? Fine. Let's go back to the other hand here. The next step says what? Take square root of both sides. Take square root of both sides. So when you take square root of both sides, you're going to have p minus 5 over 4, isn't it? Is equals to plus or minus square root of 17 over 16. 17 over 16. Let me write that so someone will not be missing it. 17 over 16. What's the next thing that we're going to do? We're going to say simplify this one further. Now I'll give you plus or minus root 17 over, that's what? 4. Good. So let's look at this one. Let's take it to decimal. I think that one will make our work faster. Let's take it to decimal. What do we have when you take that one to decimal? 5 over 4, that's 1.25. That is p minus 1.25 is equals to, don't forget we've already simplified that one up to that stage. So root 17 will give you what? 4.123. Good. That is plus or minus 4.123 all over 4. Is it clear to that stage? Shall we continue? That's very good. The next thing is what? Let's divide by 4 so we can have a straight answer. Divide by 4 will give me 1 point plus or minus 1.03075. 03075. Okay, that's very good. And we have this one in front, p minus 1.25. Shall we continue? Good. This one is going to the other side. This one is addition and subtraction respectively. So our p will now be plus 1.03075 minus, this one is going to what? To go and add in the other side. That is 1.25. Or we can have it to be p is equals to minus 1.03075 plus 1.25. Don't forget 1.25 is going to the other side to go and add together, okay? So add it together. So what's the answer here when we add it together? What's the answer? Let's press it in the calculator. What do we have? 2.28. 2.28075. What of this one? When we subtract 0. That's very good. 21 925. So those are the two options that we have. So we can approximate it. 2, like 2 decimal place, or yes, 2 decimal place will be better. So we're going to have our p to be 2.28 or 0.22. That will be the root of the equation. Do you see it now? Do you see it now? That's very good. So that's the answer to that one. So here is the question I want you to try on your own. Make sure you do it. Make sure you do it. By the time you are doing those questions, you'll be master the point that you need to master, and you won't have any issue with any of those work again. Okay, especially the completing the square method, you won't have any issue with it again. So here's the question. Subscribe to my channel if you are new here. Comment. You can chat me as well. Comment if you already done your own. You can submit in the comment box. I'll check it there. As well as if you have any if you have friends, family, make sure you share it with them so they can benefit from what we're doing in this community. Okay, so see you in the next class. Bye.